So guys, welcome back. Today we've decided that we're going to make a coffee table out of just workshop waste, stuff that everybody has lying around at home. You don't necessarily have to have a workshop the size of ours to make amazing coffee tables. And we're about to show you today how to make a basic coffee table just out of leftovers that we have around. The only thing that we have purchased today are some of these fittings. These are called Q-clamp fittings, and we get them from a local supplier. Now what we're going to use these for is fixing the legs of the table actually onto the tabletop. And you can pick these up for $5 from local suppliers nearby. Every steel merchant supplies these. They use them for handrails and stuff. What we're going to do with our table is we're going to take a logo and we're going to burn that logo into the center of here with our laser engraver, and then we're going to UV print Alan Smith Designs logo in one of the corners, either here or here. If you don't have the tools such as a laser engraver and a UV printer, that's perfectly fine. We'll show you how to finish the table without going through that whole process. So all you guys need at home is a slab of wood, some Q-clamps and a length of pipe. Easy peasy, let's do it. So the first thing that we need to do on this project is we need to design the size of the logo that we want to put on it, and we need to look at where we're going to place it. So for me, I think the logo would be perfect around about this size in the center of the board. So if we measure it, 400mm by 200mm is more than adequate. So the next thing I'm going to do is pull out the laptop. I'm going to prepare the files for laser engraving, and we'll stick this in the machine ready for burning. So what I'm going to do is import the artwork, and I know the size I want it roughly is 400mm, so it's not too bad. At the moment we're getting 301mm by 171, so I'm just going to scale it up ever so slightly. So this is the logo here that I'm going to laser engrave into this piece of timber here. So now that we know that we have the artwork ready, we need to import this artwork into the computer for this machine, and then laser engraving starts. Ready. So as you can see now, the laser machine's finished. It took approximately 2 hours to finish, but the problem is we've got lots of dirty resin marks here, bits and bobs we need to sand out. So now that we've done all of the engraving, let's finish this top properly so that it's ready to meet its base. You can see it better in the light now. See all these sticky resin marks? That's just from the laser burning it. It's all the resins and the wood coming out. So now I'm gonna hit this with some 120 paper. So we'll get some 120 paper on it. We'll buff out all the bad bits, smooth it off, and then we'll hit it with a coat of wax oil. I know that some of you hardcore woodworking guys are going to say, oh, there's knots and there's cracks and there's differences in the surface. We know that too, but this table was meant to be made quick, efficiently, and we wanted to keep that rustic look. If you want to see future videos where we make resin tables, then we'll show you how to fill these little cracks and dings and dents later. But for the purpose of this video, we just want a nice smooth table that we can oil, and we're nearly ready to do that process now. So all I'm gonna do is blow out as much of the dust as I can off this table, then I'll finish the ends and we're ready for oil. So, as you can see, there was so much hidden dust and bits and bobs and bits of sandpaper and all those little nuts and nooks and crannies even. So let's prepare the sides and let's get it ready for oil. This is a really nice smooth surface. What we're going to put on is a wax oil, a couple of coats, and it's ready. We're not putting on a varnish, we're not putting on a lacquer. It's very forgiving. We can rub the oil in, we can buff it off, and then we take a clean rag and we buff it, and it gets rid of any residue, any dust and anything else that's on the surface. So what I'm going to do is just prop it on the sticks. And that's only so that when I lift the stick up, I can get my hand under and I can rub the oil on every single side without it going all over the table. That's it. It doesn't need to be any set height. It's just literally to lift it off the table. Perfect. So guys, we're now ready to coat the worktop. Over the years, doing natural wood products, we have used lots and lots. We've used your Danish oils, we've used varnishes, we've used lacquers. For me personally, I love this product. Howden's worktop oil. I think it's like a hybrid between wax and oil. We're not sponsored by Howden's. They're not paying us money to say this. I genuinely just think it's a brilliant product. You completely cover the timber in it, leave it for around 15 minutes, and then buff it off with a cloth. After about 3 hours, you can give it another coat. You don't need to sand it in between coats. Same principle again, cover it, leave it for 15 minutes, and then this time buff it off, leave it for a little while, maybe an hour, 2 hours, and then you just rub it with a bone dry cloth. It'll come up really nice, really shiny, really smooth, and it's ready to be used. As simple as that. So for me, this is a product I use. You guys at home could lacquer this, you could varnish it, you could put beeswax on it, whatever you want to finish it, you can. But for me, this stuff's the winner every time. So let's give it a bash. You see how good it comes out? On the tub, it says to apply it with a roller or a brush. A cloth works for me every time. Because this is fresh wood, it's totally soaking up all the wax and the oil. It'll just sink right in. This first coat always does this. You can see how much the colour's popping now, just with the wax sinking in. Now, we'll wait 15 minutes, we'll buff off the excess, and then we'll give it another coat. Right, so guys, as you can see, we've got 2 coats of the oil on here. We've buffed it up, nice smooth finish. All I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna UV print a logo, just my company logo in the bottom corner here. If you don't have the machinery to do this and you just want to leave it as a bare wooden table, then you're ready for the next stage, which will follow after this. Right guys, as you can see, the tabletop is now complete. It looks perfect. We've done a bit of mixed media on this one. We've done laser engraving, we've done UV printing. I know earlier on in the video I said we were going to put the logo in the bottom corner, but once we put the timber into the UV printer, it needed to be on this side just due to consistency. But other than that, it looks perfect. We've done a nice gloss layer on it. This is all waxed, oiled, ready to go. So we literally just need to make the legs, screw the legs onto here, and we're ready for a coffee. So now that we've flipped the table over, we're going to work out the size that the legs need to be. And this is going to be really simple. All we're going to have is 4 legs. We'll put a brace in between those, and then we'll put a brace joining the 2 together. And what that's going to do is stop the table legs twisting when you use it. Now, all I need to do here is find out just an approximate size that would work. Because the table is asymmetrical, it's not a square, we can't get an exact measurement, but I think we could go for about 300 mil space in between them and an overall length of 700. So we're going to say 300 by 700. We'll assemble the legs completely. By that I mean we'll cut the pipes, we'll bolt them all together, and when that's done, we'll literally just lift it on here, centralize it, mark the holes, and we'll put the fittings. Job done. Now, as you can see, we've got all the pipes here that we've cut. We've got 4 at 450. These are going to be for each of the legs. We've got 2 at 300, and these are going to be to separate the legs at the sides. And then we have 1 at 700. This is going to go in the center to hold any movement this way. As you can see with these, they're a bit tatty. The pipe's old, it's been in the workshop. So I'm just going to Scotch-Brite the pipe, take the rust off it, and then the same oil that we used for the table, this, once I coat the pipes, will just protect them a bit from going rusty in the future. And because this table's inside, we won't have to worry about the legs going rusty again. So I'll get that done, I'll Scotch-Brite these, I'll get them waxed, and then the next step, I'll show you assembly. So now that we've applied that oil, I'm not going to wait the 15 minutes. It says on the can, because we're not doing a nice finish on a piece of wood. All we're trying to do is put a coat on the steel so that the metal surface is not in contact with oxygen and to try and slow down the oxidization process. So now that it's got a thin coat of oil on it, it'll be okay for a while. And periodically you could just put some more oil on if you started seeing patches up here. So for this project we have 4 of these. These are usually used for holding something down to the floor. We're going to use them for holding the top onto the pipe. So we're going to put one in each corner so you can see how it goes together. So those will hold the legs like this. We then need these. These T-pieces are going to go this way, and this is what's going to hold the pipe across. So we need one of them for each side. Once we've done that, we're only left with 2, and they go here in the center, and those are what's going to hold the central bar spaced. So now I'll assemble it and you can watch me doing it. So now I've constructed the frame completely, and as you can see, it's all bolted together, it's nice and sturdy. The only thing that I would recommend is that you buy these. You can buy them from the same hardware store. They're just a stop, and we'll put them in the ends here and it stops your floor getting damaged. What I will say is, even if your cutting is not 100% accurate, if you're maybe doing it by hand like I did instead of using the chop saw, you've got probably about 2 inches of movement here. So when you turn the tabletop the right way up, you can slacken these or slacken this and just adjust your legs until they all touch until you get it perfectly level, and then just nip them all back up again. Now that we're ready to fix the base down, we've got these fittings, and we normally use these in our upholstery side of the business. They're a hammer and fixing, and they're threaded on the inside. We're only using these because we have them to hand. Sometimes we use other fixings, sometimes we use ones that we screw in, and of course you guys at home can use screws if you want as well. What I will say is the holes in these are quite large, so if you don't have a screw with a big enough head, make sure you use a washer so it takes a tight hold of this. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark the holes, I'm going to drill a hole, hammer these in, and then we'll use some of these M8 bolts, and we're going to bolt these in, and then that's it, job done, complete. Now that I've hammered these fixings in, we can screw them in and we can bolt the legs to the table. So easy. All we have here, just an M8 bolt that we had in the workshop and a box of washers, and we're just going to tighten these in, and that'll fix this to the tabletop, and we're done. Just going to check the level, and we're bang on, as you can see. So now we're finished. Job complete. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more videos like this or similar videos, please subscribe to the channel. And if you hit the bell button, you will get a notification as soon as we release a new video, which means you guys will be one of the first to see the latest build. I'll see you soon.
Beautiful, isn't it? You filming? Yeah.